Hello everybody. Welcome to another live stream with Mint Markets. Today I'm streaming the PM session. Let me real quick just check that everything is working out. So far it looks good. Last time I had some problems going live. Today I really wanted to follow ICT's live streams, so I decided, and since it was a long one again, I decided to do a PM session today. Let me mute myself first, otherwise we get some troubles probably, most likely. And let me take this off real quick. So far so good. And let me start with the trading analysis. And also, since I'm streaming like this recently, it just copies the last tile, which is not ideal. All right, I think now should be better. And let me explain real quick what we have on the chart here. We have the yellow one here is the new day opening gap. This is our opening range gap here, this shaded area. We have here liquidity being taken yesterday's session, and we traded into a new week opening gap here. And further, we have taken out the low here from the PM session, so basically from the lunch session. We have taken that out and have a pretty strong reaction so far, and we're about to take out the high here, in my opinion. Or we may actually have done so already. We have a fair value gap here, and we have traded into the wicks and back into the fair value gap and the discount end of our opening range gap here. So sell side liquidity was taken here once, twice here. We have daily buy side liquidity was taken out, the relative equal highs here. Also this fair value gap here on a higher time frame, and we have dropped since then significantly and have attacked sell stops. So far it's pretty much 50-50 in my opinion, since we have had a takeout of sell side liquidity recently. So the target is taken out here and we have buy side here. And the range I would like to define here is this high and this low. So what is important to me is the midpoint of the range here, which is here if I consider the wicks, and if I consider the bodies here. Let's see where we're at. We are still here, so it doesn't change anything, which is nice. So let me actually see if the chat is working out. If you're watching, feel free to let me know. Feel free to ask any question or get in contact with me. It's a little bit more fun if we have an interactive experience as well sometimes. And I will see if I can outline a trade setups here, and if we can engage in a live trade. So I'm more interested in going long here today in this session. To be upfront, this can change. It's not a strong bias, but the reason why is because we have taken out sell side liquidity. We had second time sell side liquidity taken out. We have rejected here in this new week opening gap, this weekly range here, and we are below the midnight price. We were below the midnight price. So far we have a fair value gap here, traded into that, into this new day opening gap as well. And I feel like we might be able to get back into the midpoint, take out this high here, maybe get back into the midpoint of this opening range gap here. So I think we have a slightly bullish bias today for this session bias, but I don't think in overall we will have a strong bias. So it's more like, for me, more like I want to trade liquidity and inefficiencies today. I don't think we have a strong bias draw here today. So we gotta see if we get some intra-session setups here, in my opinion. Nothing pretty strong here in terms of bias. So if we have taken the liquidity here, and the next liquidity is here, it's not taken out yet. We have traded into a fair value gap here. We have traded into new day opening gap, and I think we have a likelihood to go back inside this range to at least 50%, which would be taking out this high here. So gun to my head, that's what I'm expecting for this session. Would not make sense for me if it goes back here and takes out this low for now. I also want to bring in the Nasdaq here. And on the Nasdaq we see a pretty similar thing here. We had a low, lower low, lower low, so we have three lows and we have rejected that. So that's not a low resistance liquidity run. I would favor a run higher for the Nasdaq as well into this fair value gap here. So basically the charts are in line for me. And I think for the Nasdaq we could see a run up for at least 30 points here into 19,700s. We have taken out liquidity, we have still liquidity here, so if it really stays heavy and it wants to drop, we have liquidity here as well. So I want to keep that in mind. But I think it's more likely to go back into this range here. Let's go back to the ES fully. And the same for ES. Obviously, we have sell side liquidity here. It could not get into that. We have taken out sell side liquidity already. We rejected it here with this new weak opening gap. And I think we are more likely to go higher from here. We have a fair value gap here as well. I'm watching this. I want to watch this. This should be a supporting fair value gap here. We traded into it so far, nicely rejected. And we have another fair value gap here. This should, price should be able to go through that and do not respect this fair value gap, should go through it and act as support here, going higher. Actually, let me measure how many pips that is. 4, 5, 7 handles. It's not really a perfect setup for me, in my opinion. I think gun to my head will go higher, but the setup is not ideal. Actually, it is a setup here probably. We had market structure shift here, fair value gap, it trades into it. Yeah, it actually is a setup. Here, market structure shift after taking out liquidity into the fair value gap, and now attacking the high here. And let's see, that's a potential bullish setup here. Let's see where I could potentially, if I'd enter, where my stop. We have a balanced price range here, so that should hold. I'm thinking to enter here, to be honest. Let me measure how many handles we have here. 7. I think I will enter here. I will risk a trade here with very low, with the lowest possible leverage, just one contract here, and I will put the stop below here. Why? Because we have a breaker here, so it should hold. We have a breaker here, the breaker should hold price above. If I'm right with my bias, I think we will go higher. So we do have a breaker here. He traded into the breaker, respected the midpoint so far. We have a fair value gap here. So far this fair value gap was respected as well, just traded into it. The bodies did not even close inside here. So my stop is below this candle's low here, and I'm expecting it to take out these equal highs and to go into the midpoint of this range here we formed so far. And the midpoint of the range here so far would be approximately here. And this is also, it's close to a daily high or low here, and it is close to the midpoint of this opening range gap. And that's what I kind of want to see. I want to see here this 15-minute gap become a inversion level here to trade through it. I want to see the candles close here and this fair value gap I want to see as a support area. So far so good. And we have taken out the buy side liquidity here outlined, and price should now stay strong and not come back after taking out this buy side. I don't want to see a retracement back into the range again. That would not be ideal. And I will actually, I will move my stop up now. I will put my stop up a little bit here because I don't want to see price come all the way back after we have taken out this high here. So I reduced my risk a little bit here, and we will stay long with the rest of the trade. I don't want to see it come back here. I want to see it stay strong and just crawl higher here. We have also the macro window here from from 150 to 210, and we saw some move higher here a little bit here. It's at least 5 from this fair value gap here. It is 6.6 handles at least, so that's actually a solid setup here. We took out the sell side liquidity here. We have a market structure shift on the 3-minute here. We have a fair value gap here, but not just a fair value gap, also a balanced price range, a breaker here, new day opening gap, and the midnight opening price. And again, the narrative is that we move back into the midpoint of the range. We could also fail here, but then I don't want to be holding this trade anymore. So actually I will move my stop up a little bit. I want to see price stay strong here and not fail, not trade through this fair value gap and not fail going lower. That's not what I want to see. And if it does so, I want to be out. If it disrespects this order block here, I want to be, and just goes back below after taking out this high. I think the chances that it stays strong and goes higher fall off, and I want to be out then. Actually, I don't like the reaction here. And I think I'm going to close the trade here manually. All right. Close the trade here. Since it disrespected the inversion fair value gap here, and it's going back below after taking out the high here. and I just didn't like the reaction here. For me at the very moment, it could still go higher, but at the moment it looks like, yeah, this is a turtle soup here. It takes out the high and then wants to go back into this range high to low here. And that's not what I want to do with my stop. We just closed here, might still go higher, traded back into the fair value gap here. It's pretty not very clean price action, in my opinion. I think gun to my head it will still go to here, fair value gap, midpoint. So I'm expecting for today at some point 5707 to see in the S&P. Just don't, but price is just very slow today. Yeah, it looks like it could recover from here. Not sure if I want to stay in this trade or take another trade on. I think it will still go up here. We can tape reading it. We can tape read it here. Why is it so slow today? Okay, very slow. Yeah. I think we will go higher from here. I'm not comfortable holding a trade here, I think. Let's see. We retraced back into the fair value gap again. Took out some liquidity here, and we might just go higher now. Grinding up slowly. Had a very small loss here, closed the trade on purpose. Not a big deal. Yeah, I think we'll go higher, even if I don't think I'm willing to take a trade here. So we have taken out buy side liquidity here, sell side liquidity here. So if it fails here completely, potential draw of sell side liquidity is here. I'm expecting it to stay a little bit stronger today and try to reach up into this high here. That's what I'm expecting, but I don't think I'm comfortable taking a trade here. So far we're at the premium low of this opening range gap here. Yeah. And it looks like we're going deeper here. All right. Have taken out sell side liquidity again. I will take another long here and we'll just see what happens. Stop loss will be here and my take profit will be here. So let's see what it wants to do. I want to see if this balanced price range here holds up. If this fair value gap is being respected, if this breaker is being respected, we will see. We have a little bit of time distortion here, and if it holds, it's good. If it doesn't hold, we paid a premium for more insight. If it stops me out, I will close the stream. All right, so we were able. We were able to make our loss back. So if I would be closing it here, we would be break even, and I will still hold the trade. However, I will leave the stop here. We have taken out the high here, so it should ideally not take out this low again here. It should ideally be able to make a higher high. That's what I would want to see. We traded into this new day opening gap a second time, into the fair value gap a second time, and this is basically a 2022 model here. We took out liquidity, market structure shift, traded back into the fair value gap here, and we should be able to go higher now. And once it takes out the liquidity here, I will put the stop to profit, to marginal profit here. I will actually do it right now. It has taken out the high already, order block confirmed here. Should be changing the state of delivery here. And it should be able to make a higher high here, ideally. That's what I want to see. Should break out of this, should end the time distortion here, in my opinion. And under these conditions, I'm not willing to risk a lot anymore. So I will, so whatever happens, the trade is risk-free now, and we will see if it can if it pays out. We have again this potential inversion fair value gap here, so it should keep price above it ideally, in my opinion. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see what it does. I think I will stay in the stream 5 more minutes. Then I will grab myself some dinner, since I'm pretty hungry. And I will just leave the trade how it is, and we will see how it pans out. But everything is set up. We have our stop. We have our take profit. So we can also just leave the trade alone. We have our narrative and everything outlined, so we can just leave the trade alone and see if it wants to pay out or not. We have a fair value gap here. I want to see if this fair value gap traded into it, if it can land support here, should, in a perfect world, should support here, and also this inversion fair value gap here on the 15-minute time frame should ideally hold price up. And I want to see it just go higher back into this opening range gap here, at least to the midpoint. I think that would be a low-hanging target. It might go higher, but that's the low-hanging fruit I'm aiming for. And I will keep you updated in the community post how this trade actually goes. All right. Oh, not ideal. Let's see. All right, so we gotta stop out here anyways. All right, stopped out again. Still think we'll go up here at some point today. Doesn't change anything so far, unless we really drop here. That's okay. So price is pretty slow today. And yeah, we have taken out buy side here again. And now it's going for sell side here. I don't think there is any setups worth taking today anymore. I think I will leave it with that. We will wait for tomorrow. We will have FOMC at 2 p.m. New York time. There will be a lot of volatility probably. So I think I will leave the market alone for now. And I will be streaming tomorrow at 10 a.m. New York time. I will be streaming again. So I hope you liked what I'm doing. I hope you like this kind of analysis, and I hope you like the trade examples. And if you did so, would be honored if you like the video and subscribe to the channel. And maybe I see you tomorrow again at 10 a.m. New York time when I will stream the New York AM session. I wish you a great evening, and